Hey everyone, it's Karissa from Shining Light on Minnesota. I'm super excited. I have Leo with me today. Welcome, Leo.
Hey, thank you.
You guys are going to get a special tour later. We're going to go to some other sites. We're going to have a lot of great conversations, and I'm super excited.
Yeah, I'm honored to be here. Thank you for having me.
You bet. So I first heard your story when you were on the Twin City Tales podcast, but let's start way back and kind of start where you grew up and kind of get to the heart and soul of where you are today.
Yeah. So I was born in Chicago,
Yeah.
A little boy in Chicago, grew up. Things were kind of hectic growing up. I've got some memories of, a lot of gang activity on the corner, just in the home. It was very dysfunctional. My mom was an alcoholic. My dad wasn't in the picture. And so just experienced a lot of chaos, a lot of horrific memories. The day-to-day kind of just felt like we were trying to survive, and as a little boy, you don't really know what you're feeling or going through in that, but you're kind of just going through the day-to-day. And so as I share my story, you kind of hear how that showed up later on in my life. But yeah, just a lot of physical abuse, verbal abuse, sexual abuse from family members, and just a lot of things that really impacted me in life.
Yeah.
And so
how, like they say kids are resilient, but there's only so much resilience that they can have. I mean, they still carry it with them, and everybody carries their background and their past with them different ways and hold it. Some hold it in, some talk about it and share it. But what do you say, what was your best way to get out of the situation when you were in it?
Yeah. Honestly, it's hard to say. As a little boy, it was really just surviving the day-to-day. I think as I got older and kind of hit my, younger teenage years, when I was 11, 12, 13, at that point, I think I really started to act out. I really started to kind of try to escape the home as much as I could. I started smoking weed and drinking, and just very, very young age. I mean, I think about my kids, I have 18-year-old, 15-year-old, 3-year-old, and 1-year-old. And so, but I think about my two oldest, and I think when they were that age, and I think to myself, gosh, I can't imagine, them going through the things that I went through, and then imagine them getting into the things that I got into at such a young age.
It's like a numbing it's a way to numb things up, mechanism is what I was trying to say, not copenism. But everybody handles it different, and it's just any way that you can get through from the day to day and just get to the next day, and every day is a new day. So I mean, it's understandable. But it's hard to see. I mean, I know and every child that you have is very different, and everybody deals with things differently too. Yeah.
And that's how it started to show up, is just acting out. I got expelled from school for selling weed in school. I got kicked out of the trailer park that we lived in because I was stealing from cars and actually burglarizing homes in there. I was in and out of Juvie a lot at such a young age. I think by the time I was 13, 14, I was a 2-time felon. And, it's just, it's the evidence, I believe, of just how that stuff that I went through began to show up in my life.
For sure, yeah. And you didn't know any other way, but, being in Juvie and being places, you had a roof over your head. You had things to do, and tell everybody what that don't understand what that was like when you were in Juvie and getting to the next stage.
It was very painful, I guess. Like, you just feel really lost, and but you're just, everything's okay. Everything is fine.
It's another day.
But really deep down, I think I was just experiencing a deep, painful turmoil of just being lost, didn't have that parental guidance, and just don't really know where my life is going. And, I do like to mention when I was 15 about my mom got sober, and we had moved from Chicago to Minnesota at an early age. And so, we had tried to get out of some of those circumstances, but it doesn't matter where you go geographically, the issues kind of come with.
Yeah.
And so her issues came with us, and then I started getting into trouble. And then she got sober, and she really did what she could to try and help me turn my behaviors around. And I just remember her coming to visit me in Juvie and kind of being, you know, there for me and that. And but by then I was already off and running.
Right. Yep.
So
I've already got my feet on the ground. I'm going.
You ain't
like,
gonna tell me now I
nope,
was
right,
rebelling and
you did it all. I can do it all.
Yeah,
Just watch.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So after Juvie and you started getting older, what happened with your life and everything like that?
Yeah.
Then?
Well, I really, you know, I went from selling weed. I was kind of taught how to manufacture cocaine, how to cook cocaine into more cocaine. And I guess you could say I've always been very entrepreneurially spirited.
Right. Yeah.
It was just a matter of channeling, you know, my gifts in a positive direction. And, you know, during that time, it was just, I was lost. I didn't know kind of what to do with myself or, you know, some of the things that I possessed. And so, you know, I just, things escalated. I started drinking a lot. I started doing harder drugs, experimenting a lot, and just really getting into a lot of harder drugs. And so then, you know, I'm 18, and now, you know, I'm going to jail.
Yep, it's adult time.
It's adult time, right? Yep. And so now I'm in and out of jail.
Yep.
You know, I've got 40 WIs.
Yep.
So there was a lot of drinking and driving, a lot of just chaos, you know, drug dealing, and just really, you know, everything kind of escalated the older I got. And so,
I mean, it makes sense. Do you feel that when you have that addictiveness to you, that it can carry on in other ways when you get older too? Like now you can find positive things to look forward to, like I'm going to work and I'm eating healthy and I'm making the right choices. Like it's still in you, it's just utilized and used a different way.
Yeah, 100%. And that's what I think I've come to learn is, you know, how to channel that in a positive direction. And then honestly, a big part of that was learning humility. Learning humility that, you know, I'm not God and I'm not, you know, like the end all be all, and like lowering myself to something greater than myself has been very beneficial for me. To just walk in humility and really just become a student of life.
Yeah,
you
absolutely.
know?
What was your turning point when you were doing all the things, the drugs, the alcohol, in and out of prison and jail and things like that, that really made you say, hey, my life needs to change?
So I was busted for drug trafficking, cocaine, and I was facing 144 months in prison. And by the grace of God, the judge gave me an opportunity to really walk this thing out. I could go into details of kind of my spiritual experience of going through that, you know, hitting my knees in that jail cell, just trying to read my Bible. Really, it was God intervening in my life and kind of put me on this path that I'm on right now. And so going through that though, I was hungry. I was hungry to stop doing things my way and to just, like I mentioned, that humility and that surrender, to do things differently. And it's been great. I really pressed in. The judge allowed me to go to a 13-month-long program. It's called Minnesota Adult and Teen Challenge. And it's the longest treatment program you can go to in the state. It's 13 months long. And so they felt that, you know, having me go through the 13-month-long program and put in the time over my head. There are other factors. You know, we had a private attorney, and, you know, honestly, just God moving in that situation for me and putting me in Teen Challenge. And I just grew so much, you know, meeting with counselors, meeting with small groups. You know, we're in chapel every day, really kind of building that relationship with God, and then, you know, just learning what it means to do the next right thing. And yeah, it just made a huge impact in my life. It was a huge turning point for me.
Nice, because I know a lot of times when people go through all the different stages and go through the systems, they start to learn the way the systems work too. So the fact that you actually took it and utilized it and handled it the right way is amazing,
Yeah.
and I'm proud of you for
Yeah.
that. That's
Thank
hard
you.
to do for sure. Yes.
That's one thing that I have written on my heart throughout this journey is proving people right.
Yeah.
When someone gives me an opportunity, I want to prove them right so that the person coming behind me who, you know, is similar, where there's hope there's a ton of potential, and they just need some help kind of getting on the right path, that they'll give the next person an opportunity. I actually remember a few years after I got out of Teen Challenge, you know, the judge put the time over my head.
Yep.
I was able to kind of prove them right. I wrote the judge a letter.
Nice.
And, you know, I've had a lot of speaking opportunities.
Yes.
I've
Yep.
spoken to a lot of high schools, middle schools, a lot of different venues like that. And so I wrote the judge a letter, shared some pictures of me speaking in the classrooms, and I just said, hey, you know, thank you for the opportunity, and look what this opportunity has given me. Look at the impact I'm able to make, and just so that you have hope when the next Leo is standing in front of you in your courtroom, maybe you can give them an opportunity as well.
Absolutely. And sometimes judges have it hard because they don't know what's the right call, whether they should or shouldn't. And a lot of times with the system, people never change. It just depends on the person. You know, there's some people have to hit rock bottom, and for some, rock bottom isn't always where they want it to be or the way it should turn out, but you don't know.
Mm-hmm.
So you've done all that, and after you've gone through the Adult and Teen Challenge, what happened next?
Well, I just started walking things out. I was kind of trying to find my direction.
Yeah.
I was in construction for a number of years, and, you know, but really always kind of knowing deep down I'm really a people person.
Yeah, right.
And but I just had limited opportunities to express that or to navigate in that space. And so, you know, it's really, I got a lot of God stories. It's really like a lot of doors opening for me and proving people right. That, you know, I want to make the most of it. And so I was given an opportunity to go into the automotive industry.
Nice.
And so I started just entry-level sales.
Right.
I grew. I got promoted a handful of times into sales management. And so, you know, at that point, I'm running sales teams.
Oh, for sure, yeah.
And not just my own.
I can do this. Now people are reliant on me, and I'm feeding the mouths of their families. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. And so, but to pay that forward and to, you know, I'm someone who really embraces the lack of limited beliefs.
Yeah.
Like I just, you know, it's hard to put me in a box.
Right. Oh, yeah.
And so from that perspective, you know, if I can have XYZ success, then why can't you? You know, and to pay that forward to a sales team. And so, you know, navigating through the automotive industry, at that point, it was hardship that launched me into my entrepreneurship.
Yeah.
My mom was diagnosed with cancer and needed someone with her around the clock to try to keep her out of a facility as long as possible, you know. So she went in-home hospice. And so I resigned from a very good job that I had prayed for the doors to open,
like this is
and
the job I've always wanted.
Worked really hard for, but she always told me that I would be the one to take care of her, and I didn't really know what that looked like until that time came, and you know, I knew that I needed to step back and be there with her, and so that was what launched me into my entrepreneurship. At the time, I was younger and still kind of learning, you know, how to manage things. And so when I made that jump, I didn't have anything. I didn't have no money saved. I didn't have.
I don't know where I'm going to go or what I'm going to do next.
100%. I was like, I'm just jumping, and I just need to be with her, and I'll figure the rest out. And so I was able to scrounge up $3,300 to buy this piece of junk plow truck. And so, yeah, that's kind of where that starts.
Very cool.
Yeah.
So you've had, since you've gotten out and all along the way, who have been some of your mentors that have really helped pull you to where you are today? I mean, I know you said the judge was a big one because he helped put you into the Adult and Teen Challenge and gave you a hope.
I would say, like right now, I've got a few business people in my life that I look up to. I admire the success that they've done. Tom Allez, he's the president of Edge Home Finance.
Nice.
They're the #1 mortgage broker in the country.
Yes.
I've got Daniel DeRocher. He's running a Minnesota real estate mega team. And then, just a few others that I look up to. Tom Trzynski, he's the CEO of Minnesota Adult and Teen Challenge. And, just some men of faith that, Skylar Lewis, I would say, is also another guy that I have in my life, that I can reach out to when needed. He's the CEO of Rise Up Kings. It's a Christian men's business owners coaching program out of Texas. And, guys like that are guys that I aspire to be like. Like, how do you do life at the highest level and balance it? And for me, it's been a learning experience, like not having my dad in my life and really kind of learning my masculinity and how do I express my faith in masculinity together and like all those things. And then just balancing life at a high level. It's been instrumental for me. So.
Amazing. So like obviously you've got a tribe of people that are willing to help and always there. But one thing that I heard a long time ago, and I still think it's true, and I've probably said it on a lot of these podcasts, but the people you surround yourself are more like if you're hanging around 4 people that are doing drugs, you're going to be that 5th one. If you're hanging around 4 people that are successful and entrepreneurs and doing things and higher up than you, then it's going to help bring you up. Yeah. Or if you're, around good people making good choices, then more than likely you're going to be wanting to make those good choices too and end up and be like they are too. So yeah.
And I'm really intentional about that.
Yeah.
I picked that up, I think, early on in my journey of transformation. And you are who you surround yourself with, right? And
guilty by association too sometimes when they're doing things, or whether it's a good association or not. Yes. Yeah.
Yep.
It's super exciting to see where you've come and where you've gone. What do you think? You've gone through a lot of your obstacles. What do you think was the hardest one for you to overcome? Was it having kids, or was it not overcome, but that have helped shape you too? Yeah,
I would say, business has been really hard. Growing the businesses to where they're at. Very entrepreneurially spirited, running multiple 6-figure businesses. And one of my businesses is going to 7 figures here. And so just the balance of that and balance of family and everything like that
I don't think there really is a full balance. When people say that, like when you're in business, it's like, okay,
it's a different
work
life.
is here, family's here, and then it kind of shifts for a little bit, and it's like, okay, we got to get this all under control. But it's just a teeter-totter and figuring it all out. Yeah,
for sure.
So you have some kids, and how have they adapted to seeing you like, hey, Dad can make it, Dad can do the things.
Yeah.
We can too.
Yeah. My 18-year-old just graduated, just had his graduation party, and
amazing.
He's definitely cut from the same cloth, and like he's just hungry. He's like, I'm gonna get a job in car sales, and I'm kind of like, hey, we should get your real estate license as well, and
then become a broker so you can have it on your own. Yeah, take the steps.
And like he's just super motivated and hungry like that. He's kind of, I don't know, sometimes our kids kind of have that edge on their shoulder.
Right, like you got to do something, so what are we going to do? Yeah, keep you going a little bit. Yeah.
Yep. And so, that's probably the most evident right now as he's becoming an adult now, and able to kind of, forge his own path, where you kind of see some of that show up, and you see yourself in them. You're like,
yep, that's a little mini me right there. We're good. Yeah. Well, I don't know if we're good, but that's me. Yep. Yeah.
Exactly.
Like, okay, now I got to tone it down a little bit.
Exactly. I was just gonna say, like, all right, hey, you can just
just take a breath and make some choices. But they have to live and learn too, and that's the hardest thing is when you see your kids going through something.
Yeah.
And seeing them struggling with something, and it's like, you have to figure it out on your own. I can't, and I'm not gonna baby you. I did it. I survived. You did it. You survived. There's choices you have to take. How do you think the outside world has been welcoming you back from like, okay, you're a convicted felon. Now here's the real world, and here's where you got to sink or swim?
Yeah, I think that on paper, at times that has been the hardest. I mean, even getting into the car business, there had been a number of times where I was denied or rejected, whether
Yeah.
it be my background or my driving record. I mentioned 40 WIs,
Yeah.
so you got to be insurable to
Oh,
drive
absolutely.
company
Yeah, yeah.
vehicles and
Yep.
things like that. And so there definitely were hard moments, and just kind of navigating through that. And so. Spacing.
Yeah, no, you're good. We were just talking about how you're. No, I am too. We're good. We'll go on to the next part. Yes.
Yeah.
So we're going to be doing a tour later and talk about the real estate world and the towing business, and then
Yeah.
we'll go into that a little bit when we get there. So how did you get into real estate? Just being hungry?
Yeah. So yeah, just I needed to do something. My mom got sick with cancer,
Yeah.
and was kind of just discovering what could this look like. A friend of mine had encouraged me, hey, maybe you should check out real estate. And you've had a lot of success in the car business. Maybe real estate can be something that you could explore. And I didn't really know what that looked like. I didn't know what the pay was like. I didn't know what anything about it.
Yeah.
I thought, well, let me check it out. But as a felon, even
Doing the
getting
background
my
checks
the
and-
background
yep.
checks
Yep.
and getting licensed, that was something that I didn't know would work or not,
Right.
and so I had to jump through some hoops. The Minnesota Department of Commerce did grant me my real estate license.
Yep.
I had to go to courthouses and get all the paperwork,
Variances and everything
yeah,
else. Yep.
sentencing orders, and what did you do with it? Did you complete things or not?
Yep.
And then get some character reference letters as well. To answer your question earlier about, what are, how has that been out in the world?
Yeah.
It's I think a lot of times people have a hard time seeing that in me, because
Right.
I can clean up and kind of, but that's the blessing, I think, of when you change your life and you turn your life around. It's people have a hard time even seeing it, but then you look at the paper and you're like, holy cow, this guy has been around the block and he's been through some crazy things.
Mm-hmm.
And so to, just really, make sure that I'm staying presentable,
Yes.
staying professional and ethical as well. All those things kind of go hand in hand.
Well, and seeing you get to where you are today, it's kind of one of those things I've made it here. I have to keep going, because if I don't, it's a slippery slope. It could be easily gone back to that. And everybody has a story to tell. And I think that people that judge based on your past or who you are, it's okay, you've done things.
Yeah.
You have a story to tell too.
Yeah.
Give yourself grace, but then give that person grace too.
Yeah,
Everybody
for
has,
sure.
everybody has it in them to make the most of themselves.
Yeah.
If they want to put in the
Yeah.
effort. That's the big thing too.
And that's really what I sense is just written on my heart is exactly that, to not only prove people right, but also to defy the odds of, and really show others what they're made of, what is possible. I mentioned
Right.
the lack of limited beliefs earlier.
Yeah.
Just really any limited beliefs out the window.
Right.
We can go as far as we feel called, and if I can do it, and with the limits that are placed on my life with
Yeah.
felonies and everything, I'm just not one for excuses.
Right,
and so
right.
when I hear someone else making
I
excuses,
can't do it, or I don't know how.
yeah,
Figure
no,
it out. You've got this.
got this.
Yep.
Yeah,
Yep.
exactly. And
I'll
so
be the biggest
that's
fan in your
huge.
corner. Let's just figure it out and let you figure it out. I'm not
Yeah.
going to do it for you. 'Cause
Yeah,
I think a lot of
100%.
people want handouts and
100%.
here's this thing, here's that thing, and I'm like, I did it. I built my book.
Yeah.
You can do it, and you can build yours.
Yeah.
I'll help you along the way and give you
Yeah.
the tools to do it, but
Yeah.
that's on you.
Yeah, 100%.
Yes. What do you think's next for you?
I'm actually exploring. So before I jumped in my entrepreneurship, I was going to school part-time. I was a sales manager in the car business. I was going to school part-time for biblical studies.
Yep.
And so I actually just last week filled out the form to re-enroll in that. And so as I grow the businesses to kind of function without me,
Yep. Which is the most important, because you have to be able to wear the hats that you need to get to the next level. Yes.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And so for me, what that looks like is kind of pivoting into service work. Really, I have a heart to serve others. I have a heart to make a difference in the world. And so for me, to go back to school to finish my biblical studies degree and see what doors that might open for me. You know, just been working really hard to get the businesses established, running themselves, and then, you know, to finish my biblical studies degree and see what may come from that.
Well, it's nice to have the processes set at one place, because then even if it's not the same business, the processes still stay the same. I mean, in a sense, like, okay, I have this flowing by itself with these processes. Once you get that set, figure out who the personas are and everything like that, and the lanes they're in, then okay, it's just duplicating it into other areas too.
Yep, 100%.
Yeah, super exciting to see. So you have had all of that going on. Do you think that you'll be doing any travel with the biblical studies and giving back that way? Do you want to do that?
I do.
Serving?
So I serve on the board of directors for missions in Africa. Bridge of Blessing is the organization. You know, I would like to go out there and just experience more of what they're doing out there. A friend of mine, Jerry, we met here, and he felt called to go there and kind of, you know, do that service work out there. And so I want to kind of go and partner with him in that. But I do also feel led to just go out to like Jerusalem and Israel and, you know, Rome and just all the different historical places that I just am hungry to go and experience firsthand for myself. And so that's kind of what it looks like for me. I carry that kind of student mindset while, you know, with a lot of the people that, you know, I sense I can make a difference in their lives. You know, a lot of times like people like me who are like coming out of jail or prison.
Like, I have no end. I'm still going downhill. No, you can change.
Yeah, no, you can. And to take those experiences in life and make an impact in other people's lives is really important to me.
It's amazing. And I think people don't realize, but when you travel to some of those places, you find yourself all over again and in a different light sometimes. And where are you even going? Yes, I'm working and doing this and doing that, but let me take a step back and reset and hone back in on where I am and who I am. Yeah. Super exciting. You have a lot of things going on. What do you think, you know, has formed in the business world has been some of your challenges?
Yeah. I would say that, well, truck repairs.
Right. Yeah. There's always something going on, and it's always something. Yes.
Like just having the resiliency to push through. You know, owning a towing company, a snow plowing company. There's always the truck repairs that can be very hard on the finances and kind of just cut your legs from under you when you start to get some momentum going. And so, but just, you know, being resilient, pushing through it, getting the machine built and kind of running and you know, year over year we've been growing and doing good. And so just pushing through those hard points of building an organization.
Do you think that you'll have diesel mechanics and mechanics on hand to help build the trucks somewhere down the road?
We've definitely been putting out some ads on. We need diesel mechanics, in-house mechanics, and definitely on the radar and something that we've been beginning to implement.
Because once that truck's down on the side of the road with someone on it, you just want to have one of the guys just hop out there and quick fix it or do what they can do to get it to where it needs to be. Then you can work on the bigger stuff.
Exactly.
We have a lot of things going on. I appreciate starting here, but let's show our audience a little bit about where you're at, where your roots are, and everything like that at the other sites.
Let's do it.
Awesome. Thank you.
All right. Yeah.